that? One more time? No? What's going on? This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, MyBookie.ag, and it is absolutely wonderful to have you along for the ride, folks. A lot that went on yesterday with the 76ers getting blown out in Summer League, so that was no fun. Except for VJ Edgecombe, he did speak. Jameer Nelson, he did speak. One of my favorite things about that was his son, Jameer Nelson Jr., is playing for the Spurs. And the reporter asked him, so, how is this, watching your son? He's like, not great, because my team's getting crushed. And that is true. The Sixers got blown out by 41 points in the Summer League. That's terrible. The next biggest blowout of yesterday's Summer League games was 9 points. So there we are with that. So we'll get into that, some of the specifics through that game, some of the things that were said by VJ Edgecombe, and some of the things that were said by Jameer Nelson. And the biggest thing that came out yesterday was this story from Jeff Passan about your Philadelphia Phillies. And he came up with these like dream scenarios, the best possible moves the Phillies could make. Really, every Major League Baseball team could make. If you want to find this story, it is on ESPN.com, and it's under the headline, 2025 MLB trade deadline, Jeff Passan's top moves for contenders. So these are maybe pipe dreams to a certain extent, although he really hit the nail on the head when it came to what could help the Phillies. So what do we always talk about? We always talk about the bullpen. That's one thing that we always talk about. What else do we always talk about? We talk about outfield help. What else do we always talk about? The left field in particular, getting a left fielder there to plug that hole that Dave Dombrowski has just had an absolute blind spot for since he's been here. Really, more specifically, over the last 2 years. Terrible. We've talked about Whit Merrifield. Nope. We've talked about most recently Max Kepler. No. Austin Hayes in between. Still no. Still searching. Still looking. And Otto Kemp right now is trying to at least hold down the fort in a platoon situation with a still struggling and now injured Max Kepler. So where do you go from here? Well, you got to find somebody that you can plug in there, play, and help you out defensively, as well as help you out in the lineup. What's it going to cost? Well, when you throw in the idea of also possibly getting Emmanuel Clase from the Guardians, when you get those two guys together, if you're able to get that package deal, again, in this pipe dream scenario, this is the way Jeff Passan described it, and I find this to be just so charming, considering the way maybe is used in this sentence. He talks about Clase, he talks about Stephen Kwan coming over from Cleveland. Maybe it would take Andrew Painter. Maybe Aiden Miller. Maybe Justin Crawford. Regardless, the Phillies window is closing and getting both with club control. That's the biggest part of this. Club control. Considering these deals, considering what they're making already, Kwan, for instance, $20 million over 2 years, free by the Phillies standard, and they're exactly what the Phillies are looking for. $26 million for Clase over the next 3 years. Yeah, deal me in. I am usually a little bit guarded when it comes to prospects. When it comes to, who could be helping you out for the near future? Who could come up here and also be someone that could be part of the cornerstone, the foundation, really, for the next group of winners. And when I look at Justin Crawford and I look at Aiden Miller and obviously Andrew Painter, I say, all right, when you're having guys that are getting up there in age and still making big money and costing the club big bucks and the production isn't there, who else is coming up that's going to give you that production at the low cost to help offset the high cost of the pitchers you still have in the rotation? That's an obvious mix that you want to have to continue winning. So we don't go through a 5, 10-year period, 11-year period, 13-year period of not making the playoffs, not competing. You want to avoid those, obviously. So I look at Aiden Miller as a shortstop, 21 years old. And I look at Trey Turner, who signed forever and doesn't want to move off the shortstop spot anytime soon. So what's the next move for the Phillies? Well, Aiden Miller looks to me to be a guy that is pretty much blocked. He's also a guy that unfortunately is struggling at the minor league level. And look, I don't just brush off a .412 on base percentage, which is what he's been able to do in July. I don't brush off a .361 on base percentage and just a .196 batting average that he has right now through the brief play in June. But that's what Aiden Miller has done so far this season. I don't brush off the on-base percentage, but that batting average in a bandbox that Redding's supposed to be, he's not producing in that regard. 7 home runs also on the season. So Aiden Miller, to me, would be obviously expendable. You could look at Andrew Painter and his horrible ERA that he has right now. 4.41, I want to say. That's not the guy that's supposed to be an ace coming up through the minor league system. I'm willing to be a little bit more patient with Andrew Painter. Justin Crawford, to me, is the one that would sting the most. The one that would sting the most. Because you got Sanchez under control. You could obviously have Suarez under control real quick. You have Zach Wheeler under control. These are 3 guys. Jesus Luzardo, I know there's been some night and day as of late, but he gets to rest throughout this all-star break with a 7 scoreless performance. Another one that he's been able to put together on the season. So I love that he's here in Philadelphia. Andrew Painter, it wouldn't feel great, but if you're talking about who's the most expendable of this group, I think you're looking at Aiden Miller, and then I think you're looking at Andrew Painter, and the guy that would absolutely 100% sting the most is Justin Crawford. Justin Crawford and Aiden Miller, same age, 21 years old. Both 21 years old. Aiden Miller's in AA. Justin Crawford's in AAA. You're always going to need help in your outfield. Nick Castellanos' deal is going to be up. Brandon Marsh, I know he's really put it together over the last 2 months, and that's been awesome for him. And if you make this deal with Quan, where are you going to put Justin Crawford? Well, I'm willing to give him every opportunity to be your center fielder. 21 years old, build for the future, absolutely. That's the one that would sting the most, even more so than Andrew Painter. And it's not even the fact that Andrew Painter has struggled recently in AAA. It's really got nothing to do with that. It's just all about you have pitching solidified for at least the next handful of years here. You don't know what could happen the next couple of years. Somebody else comes available, draft somebody else, trade, whatever. A lot of things can happen. The one that would sting the most is obviously Justin Crawford. Now, I don't think you're going to package all these guys together and 3 guys and you ship them out. I don't think that's what Jeff Passan is saying. But you could be looking at 2 out of these 3 names on the move. And as I was saying, I'm usually a little bit more guarded than most when it comes to trading prospects, especially with a team that isn't getting younger as it is, a team that is going to have big money due sooner rather than later with guys like Alec Boehm, for instance, Ranger Suarez, as I mentioned earlier. You have guys that you're going to have to pay. They're going to be on their first big contract before their next big contract. So it won't be as astronomical as some others have found. Like getting $12 million a year for Aaron Nola, then all of a sudden bumping that up to what, $24 million? That's the way it just works in baseball. But when it comes to guys like Quan and it comes to guys like Emmanuel Chase, the biggest thing of all that is that there's really not many guys like them. Emmanuel Chase has been Clase, has been one of the best closers, not the best closer in baseball. 3-time All-Star. 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Around there with the cutter. 98-mile-per-hour cutter. Slider that just breaks at 92 miles per hour. All the problems we've been talking about with the bullpen, back end of the bullpen, he's the perfect answer for it. Stephen Kwan, the perfect answer in left field. You're talking about a guy that can hit for average. You're talking about a guy that gets on base, a good on-base percentage, 351 on-base percentage career. You're talking about a guy who's also an all-star, 3-time all-star. You're talking about a guy, oh my God, left field, a gold glover? Are we allowed to even dream about potentially having a gold glover in left field? What? That's not allowed in Philadelphia. But hey, here we go. Forget the days of Rhys Hoskins in left. Forget the days of Raul Ibanez in left. Forget the days of Pat Burrell in left field. Forget the days even of Kyle Schwarber every once in a while dipping his toes into the left field waters. What had happened with Stephen Kwan? Stephen Kwan would be like, oh, he's got it. Oh, fly ball to left, out. Line drive, left field, out. Great coverage he gets out there in the left field spot. Look, I know there's pause with a lot of people to trade prospects. And in all honesty, it does sting a little bit to think of $300 million for Trey Turner, $330 million for Bryce Harper, a record deal with Zach Wheeler. All the money that's just being thrown out right now with Aaron Nola on the mend, and his struggles to boot. So yeah, that doesn't feel great to think, oh well, now you got to trade your future to also help the guys right now. That's the sticking point, right? Well, Emmanuel Clase and Stephen Kwan are both 27 years old. You would have control of Clase through 2028. And you'd have control with Kwan through 2027. These aren't rentals. This is having that extra year. This isn't pushing all of the prospects in the middle of the basket for 33-year-olds. This isn't like guys past their prime. These are guys very much well in and still have more to achieve in their Major League Baseball careers. So when you talk about prospects, you're still talking about guys in their mid to late 20s. With club control for another at least 2 more years, 3 more years, yeah, I'm in. I'm absolutely in. Again, this is a pipe dream. I don't see this happening. Now, the one line that I think when this story came out yesterday from Jeff Passan, what time did this thing come out? Yesterday morning, right after we wrapped the show. When I was doing my post-show stuff, I heard, I thought I was driving through Philadelphia, and I could have sworn I heard, yeah, right. And then I sensed eye rolls, and I think it was because of this line from Jeff Passan's story. So he identifies the weakness as bullpen and outfield. You can hang, Jeff. You can hang here. You get us. As long as the Phillies are aiming high, and now get ready for this one. And nobody aims high quite like Dave Dombrowski. Epic eye roll. Perhaps they can make a run at landing both Clase and Stephen Kwan from the Cleveland Guardians. Maybe it would take Andrew Painter, maybe it would take Aidan Miller, maybe it would take Justin Crawford. Regardless, the Phillies window is closing, and getting both with club control. Clase under contract through 2028, Kwan through 2027, and most certainly Clase due 26 million for the next 3 years, and Kwan less than 20 for 2, would make dealing high-end prospects significantly more palatable. Palatable. I'm an idiot. Yeah, it absolutely would. Cleveland ultimately bulks at moving Clase. It doesn't change the imperative. Philadelphia needs to address its weakness. Now, the other thing you have to keep in mind here, and whenever we talk about prospects getting dealt, it always feels like, oh, there's more. That's too much. That's too much. And then they get dealt. It's like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And there are definitely guys that players won't budge on. There's always the guys that clubs consider to be untouchable. Last year, I remember Crochet came up through the White Sox. That came up in the Andrew Painter conversation. Andrew Painter's name was thrown in there, and the Phillies wanted nothing to do with it. No, okay, I get it. But I look at starting pitching right now, and I go, yeah, this Phillies team is pretty damn good. Pretty damn good here for a while. These are all the things you have to consider. But when you talk about you're not getting rental players, you're getting players that can help you for 2-3 more years and possibly even more after that if they like it here in Philadelphia. And then, yeah, you'd have to pay them significantly more. If Clase goes on to his, to another All-Star appearance, and Kwan goes on to another All-Star appearance, then yeah, you're going to be talking about guys making a whole lot more dough after 2 or 3 more years, which kind of fits in perfectly here in Philadelphia. Now, even though that you would have control over these guys for 2 or 3 more years, the other thing you have to consider is the idea of, well, when Justin Crawford comes up, you'd have control over him for a long time, twice the amount, 3 times the amount. And that's still while the contracts that we're halfway through, by the way, at least with Bryce Harper, you'd have to consider while those guys are having dwindling returns, you need other guys to come up. And just like I was talking about with the pitching staff, a guy like Andrew Painter coming up here and taking over a pitching staff when guys are getting up in their years and making a lot of money, you're not getting that same production. You need the younger guys to kind of replenish that production. and this is what you risk. I think this is an incredible deal that the Phillies could afford with their prospects, with what they have now, the young age that they're getting back in 27-year-old all-stars to fill your two biggest needs right now. Too many things fall into the perfect place for this to not be an offer on the table. Like I said, I don't think it would take all three of these prospects. It would take more than just two of them, so you'd have to throw in other things. But when I look at this deal, I go, this seems like it's too good to be true, number one. And number two, I look at this deal and I go, I also don't think they would part ways with three of their top-tier talents in the minor leagues. I don't put a lot of stock into Andrew Painter coming back from Tommy John surgery, first year back, Phillies being super cautious with him. I don't put a lot of stock into a pretty terrible ERA there in the minors. I look at this guy getting back into it, and I don't think it's a fair assessment to be like, well, he's got an ERA north of 4, close to 5. Actually, you know what? I'm blanking on his ERA right now. So through the awesomeness of modern technology. Yeah, 4.97 ERA. I think I said 4.41 earlier. 4.97 ERA. Yeah, that's not great, but I'm not going to say, oh, well, now he's a bust before he even has an opportunity to pitch at the major league level. I mean, Nick Abel looked phenomenal. For his first 11 innings, was it? And then things just kind of fall off face. There's fool's gold out there if you're a fool. I think you know that you got to watch these guys for a minute and go, what do they really have? Well, Andrew Painter has had all of baseball looking at him for a long time and going, this guy's really got great stuff. Can he bounce back from Tommy John surgery? Well, as it usually does, takes a year before somebody really regains what they had beforehand in his first season, really, throwing, trying to prove himself to a major league roster. So I'm not going to go ahead and say he's going to be some kind of bust, but it doesn't change the fact that the Phillies, they need help now. And I know they have spent a lot of money. I know there's been a lot of disappointment with them producing with runners in scoring position as of late. I know there's been worry and concern about this Phillies lineup going forward. I mean, just don't talk about the left field spot, for defensive purposes. You're talking about a guy that could be a top-of-the-order hitter in Stephen Kwan coming to Philadelphia. That's another thing I didn't even mention before. Kwan comes to Philly. You have another option at leadoff. You certainly have another option to be your two-hole hitter. To me, you get Stephen Kwan in this lineup. I don't change anything with Trey Turner. Trey Turner stays as my number one guy. Kwan would bat second. Harper would bat third. I can move Kyle Schwarber back to the 4 spot to back cleanup in this lineup. Nick Castellanos gets moved down a spot, or Alec Bohm gets moved down a spot. Nick Castellanos gets moved down a spot. Your lineup's that much better. You're one full dude deeper with talent in this lineup. This is a perfect trade for the Phillies. Certainly helps you now, and it helps her for the future. It helps you to the point where we're probably not talking about a left fielder next year. We're probably not talking about a left fielder the year after that. Probably not talking about a closer for the next 3 years at good money. Even for both sides here. This solves the problem that we constantly talk about when it comes to bullpen and the left fielder spot, particularly somewhat of a closer status, all-star closer status, that is. I don't think Emmanuel Clase goes out there in the 9th inning against the Giants. And I'm not blaming. You guys heard me. I wasn't even that mad at Jordan Romano. I was more mad at Rob Thompson. But if you have Clase as an option in your bullpen, probably not giving up that inside the park 3-run triple, 3-run home run triple. Just as a recent example for the last time we wanted to bang our heads against the wall watching the Phillies bullpen. So if this is a real deal on the table, that's something that Jeff Passan's not just throwing against the wall. This is something that he's putting out there because, hey, I know the Phillies are looking for this. Maybe they've talked to the Guardians about these two potential moves. I'd be in. Deal me the hell in, man. Deal me the hell in. So yeah, let me know what you guys would be looking at when it comes to hold on. I'm just seeing this now. I literally all right. Hold on one second. Let me try something here. We had a little static issue last time with this stuff. Give me one.
I'm really good. I mean, I really am. I don't want to, put that out there and everybody go, what's he talking about? But I know when I'm going well, and I'm one of the best in baseball. And, like I said, I'm healthy, I'm strong, I feel great. It's just putting myself into plus counts. I haven't done that. I mean, you guys have seen that, and I haven't done that. So I feel.
I think I just heard it. I don't know why that's going on like that, but I don't know. Just try to make a little bit of an adjustment there, and hopefully that fixes the problem. I don't know. Mad static background, Farzy. I just unplugged the mic and plugged it back in. I'm on the right thing. I had a problem with the browser the other day. Something as stupid as that. Oh, Bryce was nice and clear. So that's funny. That came back in my head or in my headset. Just insane. Awful. I don't know why I'm getting the static. Good times. We're all having fun. Speaking of things not going well, the Phillies played, or excuse me, the 76ers played a summer league game last night. Their summer league game consisted of them losing 111-70. That's pretty terrible. There were two plays that really jumped out to me in this game that left me scratching my head. Basically, to sum up the dominance of the San Antonio Spurs last night, Janai Broom got blocked. Oh, you're getting feedback. I don't know why the hell you're getting feedback. I'm at a loss. I don't know what to tell you guys. Apologies. I have to check the audio cards, Farzy. That's interesting. 111-70 loss to the Spurs. Janai Broom blocked something terrible when he was he got a dunk blocked, going up strong, wasn't having it. And I was like, that was it. I think it was 34-20, or no, excuse me, 34-10 at the time. Did not look good. Then first quarter, that David Jones Garcia dude dropped 12 points, 3 threes in the first quarter there for the Spurs. Yeah, just somebody guard him, maybe. Coming out of the second quarter, Mark Armstrong came up with a big dunk right off the inbounds play. And I was like, okay, a little spark here, a little something. Maybe something happens here. It didn't. Adem Bona got blocked, something terrible, twice. And here's your center. That wasn't good. He also had a coast-to-coast layup, which was nice to see in that second quarter. Sixers played a lot of zone that got eaten alive last night. Really, the biggest thing, Dom Barlow, who just got picked up by the 76ers, was in their starting five last night. 5 rebounds, I believe, he was able to pull down. But two of the biggest thing for me was VJ Edgecombe and Jameer Nelson got interviewed during the game. And Janai Edgecombe just said it would be a dream come true to play Summer League, continue to play Summer League. I think that's what he meant. But dream come true to play Summer League. As long as he's allowed, he gets reevaluated tomorrow. So fingers crossed that he gets 2 healthy thumbs up to go out there and play. And then Jameer Nelson, one of the funniest things I took away from him was that he was asked about how nice it was to watch his son play basketball for the Spurs in this game. And he couldn't get past the fact that the Sixers were getting blown out, something terrible. End of the first quarter, they were down 22 points. As I said, they got blown out by 41 in total. And to just do a little bit more salt on the open wound there, the biggest blowout other than the Sixers last night was 9 points. Sixers not only the only team to lose by 10 or more, they're the only team to lose by 40 or more. So that's just great. Great. Let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARZI, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience? Check out phlsportsnation.com. All right, I'm seeing you guys in the chat still. Tate, I'm seeing the audio change just on my... It changed on your side? That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know why it sounds fine on my headphones, but wonderful, beautiful technology. Oh, yeah, Sean Kilmer. Yeah, we did the Bat Boys going. That is pretty great. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to call it an early show today, boys and girls. Me scusi. Yeah, I'm going to try to fix the problem. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, because, I got like 3 other podcasts I have to do today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are awesome, and I want to make sure I fix this problem. And next thing I do for you guys, I want to make sure it's up to snuff. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. As far as the show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Apologize for the audio issue. We'll get that straightened out. Thank you.